And here's the thing that pisses me off. There's a couple things that have really pissed me off about this. So Joe Manchin fucking decided that he was gonna fucking bail on the Build Back Better plan. One of the reasons he said that was because somebody said something mean about him, fucking the White House. They said something mean about him. Oh, I'm gonna cry. He singled him out. He's so mad he singled him out. Well, motherfucker, you're the one fucking up. You're the one. You are the only one. They even got cinema on board. Where the fuck you at, Manchin? Where you at? All right? Of course they're going to single you out. You're fucking it up for the entire Democratic Party. You worthless fucking piece of shit. You have no fucking value. You have no fucking value to anybody. Not to the Republicans, not to the Democrats, not to the state of fucking West Virginia for fucking sure. Like, you think those fucking people, some of the most impoverished people in this country don't want fucking relief? Are you fucking kidding me? Get out of your fucking head, asshole. You're fucking making a gold mine right now off of this shit. Their interest in the coal industry and your interest in pharmaceuticals. And you're pissed off about a $250 check going to parents? What the fuck is wrong with you? Pull your fucking head out of your ass. I want to be the one with my finger in his fucking chest telling him that shit. No fucking lie. Fuck this motherfucker. And more people need to be bold enough to step up to him and tell him exactly what's what and stop being fucking nice about it. You don't deserve kindness. You don't deserve kindness when you're perpetuating poverty in the state that you fucking represent. This is from the Hill, so I'm not expecting them to provide anything better. This is fucking horrible. Who the fuck edited this shit? This is fucking dog shit. That was like one of the worst ones I've seen. Sorry about that. That was fucking horrible. That just goes to show how bad the Hill is. Fucking ads. So this fucking clown shoe, is fucking pushing back against a policy that will help his state the most. And he's fucking getting, like, he's gotten everything he wanted in this. He's gotten every fucking thing he wanted. They cut everything that he asked them to cut. Because when you only have 50 senators, every single one of them is important. If they were more right-leaning, you know, if the Democrats were more right-leaning and had a recalcitrant senator that was blocking them from the left, you know, it's going to be the same way. It's just the fact that there's 50 senators, you know, that's it.
Well, I would say I think the a lengthy statement that I issued yesterday outlined pretty specifically the events of the last few weeks. And it was important to the president and to all of us to make that clear to the American people, the status and the steps that had been taken. But I'm not going to relitigate the TikTok of yesterday from here today. I will say that from the president's viewpoint, and I saw him this morning.
Yeah, we
he's
do need
worked
state
with Senator
for DC.
Manchin over the course of decades. They share fundamental values. They're longtime friends. That has not changed. And what's most on the president's mind is the risk of inaction. And if we do not act to get this legislation done and the components in it, not only will costs and prices go up for the American people, but also we will see a trajectory in economic growth that is not where we want it to be. And we've seen projections from Goldman Sachs and others today on that front. So he's no stranger to legislative challenges. And we are going to continue to take steps, work like hell to get it done.
Well, I think what Senator Manchin did yesterday represents such an...
Here's my problem with all of this is all of the fucking progressive caucus just fucking gave up a lot of ground by approving the fucking infrastructure bill, by going ahead and voting yes on that. That really fucked us, man. That totally took all of the power away from the left. It screwed up the whole fucking thing. And I know they didn't want to. They were being backed into a corner, you know. But that's not a corner they should have fucking let themselves get backed into. I'm really disappointed at the fact that, you know, they folded on that. And I know there wasn't much hope of them stopping it anyways, because there was Republicans that were going to vote for it, but they should have done it anyways. They should have fucking stalwarted. They should have played the game, man. Republicans would have done it.
Egregious breach of the trust of the president, and it's also, you know, this is exactly why it's an outcome that we had warned about well over a month ago, about needing to plan a contingency plan for it. It's why we insisted on having the bipartisan infrastructure plan coupled and passed together with the Build Back Better Act. But I think right now we are at a juncture where it's not really about, I think, I mean, of course, we have every right to be furious with Joe Manchin, but it's really up to leadership in the Democratic Party who, you know, made the decision to get us to this juncture and how we're going to move forward. And I think right now that Democratic leadership has a very large number of tools at their disposal, the president particularly, and it's really about time that, you know, we take the kid gloves off and we start using them to govern for working families in this country.
Well, Congresswoman, you said yesterday that you were not upset with Joe Manchin as much as you were with Democratic leaders. And let's, as my grandmother from Dalton, Georgia used to say, let's just take the rag off the churn. That starts with the President of the United States, doesn't it? He's the one who shook hands with Joe Manchin. They said they had an agreement on a $1.75 trillion bill, and the president told you all that you could trust him. He could bring Joe Manchin along. How do you work with the White House moving forward?
Well, you know, I think, as I said earlier, when we were in negotiations, originally the entire country's infrastructure plan was in one bill. And this bill could be passed with all Democratic votes. It was a decision to separate these two bills and just break apart one part, which was this quote-unquote bipartisan infrastructure plan that has a lot of fossil fuel subsidy giveaways, of which Manchin is a known ally of the fossil fuel industry, and then separate the extension of child tax credits, separate the real actions that are going to protect us from climate change into the Build Back Better Act. Now, when that decision to separate and to advance the bipartisan infrastructure bill happened, some of us took umbrage with that, and the president did say that the that the Build Back Better Act was promised, and that, you know, he's got it. And we said, you know, with respect to the president, no one can really promise a Manchin vote, and so we need to really figure out what the solution is, because at the end of the day, when the clock strikes midnight on New Year's, we are talking about millions of families in the United States having their child tax credits expire. The president made the announcement just this past week that he does not have an intention on extending the student loan deadline.
Yep.
And both of these things, in addition to
He's fucking the Democratic Party. I hope he knows that. I hope he knows how badly he is fucking the Democratic Party.
And so what we really need to do is, I think, is have folks that really, our leadership needs to step up. And I think that we can do that. I do not believe that the situation is beyond repair, but it's going to take a different kind of thinking to get out of it than it did to get into it.
AOC is still based as hell as far as I'm concerned. But I think we're fucked. That's the true story. I think we're fucked for the midterms. I think we're fucked with all of this fucking shenanigans and chicanery that have been handed to us by Sinema and Manchin. I think they've really fucking screwed us. Yeah, we're fucked regardless. Well, at least if we had passed some of the shit that we said we'd pass, the working poor and the workers who, were able to turn out to vote would turn out again. They'd want to see more progress. The only thing that could possibly save the Democrats, and it's a horrible thing, but if the Supreme Court pretty much guts Roe v. Wade with this next challenge, that's going to be the Democrats' only saving grace. That may save them. Do I think it's all BS to get the GOP back in power to renew the Trump corp tax cuts in 2025? No, because I think that Biden could do that too if he wanted to, And believe me, I don't think he'd shy away from that. He used to be called the senator from MBNA because he represented the states that had the most, or the state that had the most credit card companies based out of it. And he bent over backwards for those credit card companies.
Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, official optimist of the Rachel Maddow Show. Thank you for joining us on what is a
So this
hard
must
day
have
to
came
be a
out yesterday.
professional optimist.
It is really true, but I'm not giving up the role. But I always tell you the truth. And I think the truth needed to be told here, Rachel, which was that Senator Manchin did make a commitment to the president on the framework that the president, unveiled to us the day before he went to COP. And that framework, Rachel, would never have happened had the Progressive Caucus in the House not stood up and refused to pass the infrastructure bill until we got that framework and then until we got the legislative text. But I do believe that Senator Manchin has said many things. And look, he's a nice man. I have had good conversations with him. But I had to be clear that
I hate the fact that they call him a nice man when they understand, when they all know he's perpetuating the fucking pain and poverty of not only people in other states, but the people in his own state. Stop saying that. He's not a nice man. Stop calling him a nice man. He is not a fucking nice man. He doesn't give a fuck about anybody but his own fucking pocketbook. That's it.
your word is everything around here. You can't enter into negotiations if you are not going to be an honest negotiator. And if you are not going to keep your word to the President of the United States. The President told me that Senator Manchin committed to that framework. And if there were things that weren't matching that framework, then you wouldn't go on Fox News the Sunday before Christmas and make a case that the Build Back Better Act is done and that it's reshaping the country in a way that is untruthful, frankly, but is reshaping the country in a way that's not beneficial for the American people. Rachel, we are in the midst of COVID. I think you're sitting in New York somewhere where Omicron is hitting hard. And the Build Back Better Act is about making sure we have elder care so that when people are suffering from COVID, they can be taken care of at home. It is about making sure we reduce the premiums for people to be able to get health care coverage in a country where I agree with Senator Sanders. We are the writers of the Medicare for All bill. We should have a different system, but at least we should bring down the costs of being able to get health care for people. The Build Back Better Act is about making sure we pay $35 for insulin instead of hundreds and hundreds of dollars or driving across the Canadian border. It is about making sure.
But see, Manchin don't give a fuck about that because he's got an interest in the prescription drug companies, just like Sinema does. They don't give a fuck. They don't want to lower your drug prices. They're not going to come out and lower your drug prices. It's not in their interests. Their biggest donors are those people. Their stocks are held in those companies. Are you fucking kidding me? Jesus. Just stop treating him with fucking kid gloves. Take the fucking gloves off. He was going to say no in the first place. You should have done it to begin with. You should have took the fucking gloves off and gone for fucking broke and threw his ass into a fucking corner where he belonged. And said, listen, you little shit, you're going to get on fucking board or you ain't going to have a seat next fucking term. You should have done the same with Sinema. Fuck him. Fuck them. Fuck them. Go as hard as the Republicans go. Why are we pansy asses? Why are we always the fucking pansy asses that won't go hard? Stop being a fucking pussy and fucking do it. For fuck's sake. If he's a piece of shit liar that doesn't keep his word, call him a piece of shit fucking liar that doesn't keep his fucking word. For fuck's sake, man. Are you fucking kidding me?
That we give people, the women have been pushed out of the economy and they're waiting. So these are real people. And the child tax credit, which is now not going to go out in January or February or probably March, means that millions of Americans are now going to be pushed back into poverty at a time when the virus is back on the surge. So yes, it is a tremendous frustration because we all thought we were negotiating in good faith. And the optimist in chief of the Rachel Maddow show says that the things that we are working on are hard. They are. If they were done, if they were easy, they would be done. They're not. They're hard, and we can't give up, and we won't give up. And that's why we will pursue a two-track strategy now to both push for the Build Back Better legislation to pass the Senate, and we are also calling on the president to take some significant executive actions that will make people's lives better today, and that will also put pressure on continuing to get legislation through instead of doing it through executive action. So we'll have a two-track.
Right now, he could order the Department of Education to fucking forgive all student loan debt. There is no legislation needed for that. He could do that. If he really fucking cared about not getting this bill through and still wanted to help people, he could fucking do that. He could do that right fucking now. Right now. Throw it in fucking Manchin's face. Fuck Manchin. Do it.
Process here. We're not giving up, but it's a hard day. I'll be honest.
Manchin's a whiny little piece of shit fucking bitch, dude. He's a fucking pussy ass bitch is what he is. Somebody needs to go fucking knock his teeth out in Roblox. Hardcore.